Hello everybody, welcome in. How are you guys doing tonight? And happy Sunday. G-Haves, Misfit, Mydrall, welcome. Welcome. How's everybody's weekend? We're gonna jump in and I'm gonna be painting some Star Wars Legion minis. And I am highlighting some bright warm gray in their outfits. That's what I'm doing. I'll be working on that tonight. And hopefully finishing this pretty soon. And getting to the next color. I think not surprising to anyone, the white cloth on these minis is the dominant color. So obviously the biggest time sink. Welcome in, guys. How was your weekend? Had a pretty nice weekend, honestly, all things considered. It was good. Got to spend a lot of time with the family. And got to be pretty productive. Got some things done I've been wanting to do. Plans set. Good stuff all around. Even got a little painting in. Working on these minis. As far as these rebels are concerned, I have already painted or highlighted, at least my first highlight, on everything except their jacket or their torsos and their sleeves. Torsos and arms, I guess. We're going through and getting that on everybody. That's the plan. The goal is to finish that tonight. That gets finished, we'll move on to the next color. If we don't have time to move on the next color, then that's just too bad. Fulton. Good evening, Fulton. How you doing? So my goal is to have painted and functional Legion Rebel Alliance army by the end of the month. And I guess we are cutting it a little close now. But this is probably the most time-consuming part. I'm trying not to buy any additional minis to make it work either. So even if my first couple games are janky and not so good, I'll at least have the miniatures ready. So that's the important thing. These are the new ones, Artificer Nemo. Yeah, welcome in, by the way. Welcome. Yep, these are the new plastics. I got the Defenders of Echo Base, or Echo Base Defenders set. So I have these minis from this set in particular. I have these veterans to finish up. I have the like special edition Leia mini, and I have the droids. So R2 and C3PO, which I do have a painted R2 and C3PO already. They have different basing. They're from my Republic army. But we can't have that. Yeah, these are fantastic minis. Yeah. The new Tauntaun riders are great. I have Luke and Han on Tauntauns. Those are fantastic minis as well. Just the Star Wars Legion minis that have been coming out are just incredible looking. So I'm excited to put these minis on the board. John Lockridge, welcome in. Did you guys see my Discord post today? We have a new Discord channel. Range Troopers, The Empire Forever Go, they're great. Yeah. It is one thing I've noticed, even when this was FFG that had this game, was every wave of releases they put out for Star Wars Legion, the minis look better and better. It's really impressive, and it's really awesome to see like the improvement in the sculpts just continue for years on end. It's great. Because those first minis are pretty rough. Early Princess Leia and Han Solo were my example of like awful looking minis that came out for this game. I always wanted a Princess Leia mini because I think she's awesome, and I never had a Rebel army, but I wanted to wait until she got a good miniature, and she did in this Echo Base set. And there's like a third miniature of hers. I'm not sure where to find it though. I'm not sure where it belongs, or what set it went in. I don't have that one. Okay, great. Highlights on that guy's jacket. Yeah, I have an announcement, I guess, a new channel in the Discord. You know, we're raising money to get weekly tabletop game streams going. I just need a few pieces of equipment. It just happens to be a couple. I'm going for the budget option, but a couple, you know, expensive pieces of equipment. And you guys are able to support the channel and helping raising that money. The least I can do is have you guys choose a mini and put your name on it. So when I play games, you'll be in this in the games, playing and fighting and dying alongside the rest of the minis. That channel kind of explains a bit more of that, and there's also a Google Doc with my complete inventory of painted minis for armies that I have. And the idea is, if you so choose, you pick a mini from that list, and I'll put your name on it. I'll put a picture in the Hall of Fame channel, and that mini is forever yours. Whenever I play a game with those minis, I'm gonna have names on them. I'll mention them. Talk about the awesome users that help make this the gaming streams possible. But yeah, that's the whole idea. What are you guys up to tonight? Playing Diablo 4, then painting. Nice. Wasn't there a DLC that came out recently for Diablo 4? Was that Diablo 4 or was that like Diablo 2 that had something come? I can't remember what. Remember what it was. So 2, 4, 6, 7 down, 15 to go. Oh, both. Okay, cool. Finishing up Space Marine 2, doing some hobbying. What's left on these troopers? So this is basically me starting the highlights on them. So yeah, we got the bright cloth. This is bright warm gray that I'm painting on them. I need to do some highlights on the browns on these minis. I have to figure out something with their pants, which are a darker gray than their coats. So that's a problem that needs figured out. I think I'm going to do another coat of highlight over the white, or the bright gray that I'm doing right now. Possibly. Their skin needs some work. Washes and highlights. The black needs a highlight, and a lot of them have rank insignias, that need painted. There's a good amount. This is by far the most time-consuming color. It's because it's all over the minis, so... Once the white is done, it'll be relatively quick. Six Warhammer Fantasy Battle Lizardmen list with Claude. Okay, cool. Slan Mage Priest. 6th edition Magic was king. Also, Fear. Fear and Terror are extremely strong. If you want to know what's good. Artificer Nemo, what are you going to be hopping tonight? I do want to talk to you guys about a movie. You guys ready to do some movie discussion tonight? Some hot takes about a very old movie. So, I have been wanting to show my son. He's never seen it before. Oh, Empire models. Oh, sweet. Alright. Empire's great. Hey, Jaded, what's going on? So... Lose my friends. Yeah, the second gen, yeah, second edition or second generation. Yep. Also 6th edition, with 6th edition special characters like named characters, I believe the rules say you need to ask your opponent's permission before bringing a character who is like named in the game. I think should come back into these Warhammer games, but so we watched with my son The Wizard of Oz. You know, Judy Garland, 1939, Wizard of Oz. And I have to tell you guys, I love The Wizard of Oz. I love that movie. I'm not one for like old movies. You know, I understand it's a weird movie. I know there's a bunch of problems behind it, whatever. I love The Wizard of Oz. Always enjoyed it. But I really enjoy that movie. I haven't seen it in a while, so it was fun to watch with my son, who had absolutely no idea what was going to happen next. And that movie can be kind of a trip anyway, the whole story. So we were watching it, and I don't know if you guys know this about The Wizard of Oz, but the book, written by Frank L. Baum, I believe is his name. I read it in college for fun. I saw it in my like university library. I was like, oh, this is cool, and I read it. It's pretty similar to the movie, but you name all your characters, yeah. So a lot of people believe and have connected his book to events that were going on at the time he wrote the book. And the book itself being a really big like allegory for the time he was living, which the book was published in 1898 or 1900. I can't remember which year. It was one of those years, turn of the century, and a lot happening. But it was a big allegory about capitalism and the lack of regulation and how normal people are abused by it, and what people do to try to change it, and what needs to be done to change it. Everything in that movie is a symbol for something else. And I brought this up to my son about, one of the reasons I enjoy this movie is because the allegory and the symbolism in it. Even though Frank Elbaum denied that this story was allegory and it was about, things going on, it's wild too, the connections that are made. Like, yeah, you can pick out a character or an event or a place or any noun in that movie, and it's connected to something going on at the time. Well, he was asking me about different characters. You have no connection. Why connection shit? Yeah, well, Jaded. My son was asking me about different characters. Who is this? Who does this represent? Who is this? What's this? Well, he asked me about Glinda the Good Witch. And I was like, I don't remember what Glinda represents in this allegory. So I'm going to look this up. So I looked it up. There weren't... Wikipedia had the best set of answers because Wikipedia has an article about the allegory from The Wizard of Oz. And what people have generally concluded is that Glinda the Good Witch is actually Frank Elbaum's mother-in-law. And his mother-in-law is a woman who was a big leader in the women's rights and women's suffrage movements in the US. So huge, like, feminist name, and like powerful person who was just a big leader in this movement. And I'm sorry I cannot remember her name. We were talking about this yesterday with my family, but and apparently she had like a profound influence on his life and his views. So, he was very pro, like, suffrage, and later in his life he ended up becoming a council member or president or high up in a women's rights group, which is kind of funny, a man being in charge of women's rights group. But this was something he was very passionate about. His wife was also like really big into women's rights movements and everything, which is pretty cool. And so I kept reading about this. Yes, Matilda Jocelyn Gage. Yes, that's it. Well, as I was reading more about this, I read about how there is a more modern interpretation of the allegory present in The Wizard of Oz. And it's generally getting more acceptance, as it seems, according to the article, as time goes on. And the idea is that his book was not written as an allegory about capitalism and the railroads taking advantage of the poor farmers and the industrial workers and all this stuff. It was written as a book about feminism and in support of the feminist movement. And yeah, and it's really interesting too, because some of the connections people make when you talk about the characters in the book and in the movie. The film, there's a few extra characters in the book, but it's not significantly different. So you think of the female characters. You have Aunt Em, you have Dorothy, you have Glinda, you have the Wicked Witch of the East, Wicked Witch of the West. Are those the only female characters? I believe those are the female characters in the story. If I'm missing someone, I could be missing someone. The female characters in The Wizard of Oz are the only ones with authority with real power and decision-making abilities. So the men in the story of The Wizard of Oz all have like really deep character flaws. And when you describe these flaws, so what are big flaws that these characters have? All right. One of the characters doesn't have a brain. The other one doesn't have a heart, and the other one has no courage. And if that is not an insult to like the character of like weak men, I don't know what is. The other big male character in the story is the wizard himself, right? And a spoiler alert for a movie that's almost 100 years old, what we know about the wizard is he's actually like a con man, right? He has no real power. He just stumbled into his position, and he basically conned the people and lied to them to maintain his position, and continues to lie to him even as he leaves. So you could say The Wizard of Oz does not have very good opinions on the men in the story. That it could possibly be like, an early, very feminist book that became very famous, not necessarily for being a feminist book, but, talk about strong female characters, and that's literally what The Wizard of Oz is, right? And I thought that was extremely fascinating. Just reading about that and the connections. And I kind of like that interpretation. I do love the historical, like, here's big picture things going on in America in the 1890s, and the problematic people and places. I do love that, and it's a fun like history teaching tool. But man, the other side of Frank Baum is pretty great. Night Trap, good evening. Utility of despoilers in 30K, not much. I don't know. I really don't like despoilers in 3rd edition. They look really cool. But as far as gameplay, if you're not going for like pure theme, they are worse in every way than Tactical Marines. Humans work, we know patterns based on how we perceive things, we associate with what we know, so we naturally tend to make connections in line with our own perceptions. Yeah. Well, and I wonder, like, if you have a writer that can make something that can be interpreted in so many different ways, does that just make them a really good writer, especially when you're writing fantasy, right? When people can read into so many different meanings over 100 years later, people can find things in your writings. Now we're just slowly trucking along on these highlights, guys. Her form is making art that people can have a personal connection with. Yeah. More specific, the less it appeals. Yeah. I think that is a very fair take. Almost halfway done. Almost halfway. So anyway, I do love The Wizard of Oz. I read the book. The book is wildly violent for a children's story. But still very entertaining and like fantastical. Army Painter pins. You like the Army Painter pins? Bahamut, really? That's cool. What do you like about them? Big pan of models, so I can't complain. That's fair. All right. Don't require water palettes. Yeah, and you can like refill them, right? Because they're speed paint, and you can just put the color of speed paint in them after the fact. Okay. I would look into that because I do know they are significantly more expensive than the same amount of speed paint. But I do believe they're speed paint and a pin. What people find with Space Wolves, they try to be so many things and so specific that people start looking at with certain aspects. Yeah, Space Wolves are like, if you like Vikings, that's cool, but they have too much wolf things. But if you like the wolf aspect, they're too much into like the Viking stuff, and people like them. They're obviously extremely popular. I have my reasons for not liking Space Wolves. To be like, I can't paint because the mess and cats and kids. Yeah, no, that's incredible. I think that's great. I think it's wonderful that our hobby is in such a place where we can have options like that. It seems very inclusive for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to paint or have the time to paint or the ability to paint. Ready for yeah, jaded. Yep. The word wolf has lost meaning when it comes to Space Wolves at this point. That is pretty cool, honestly. Yeah, you just get the pin out and you just start painting. That's like a good like lunch break thing, right? If anyone ever wanted a hobby on their lunch break at work, but you don't want to lug in, the wet palette and the water pot and the paint brushes and your minis and stuff, you just throw a couple pins in the back and you got some minis that are prepped. Alright, I get it. Indian firework with painting. It's me. Yeah, it makes you nervous. That's fair. That's crazy. I've never tried to knit before, so I have no idea how I would do with it. I'd be more nervous about. I love their scheme. Dislike their overly brutalist characters. Yeah. The Heresy Space Wolf scheme is great. Speaking of Heresy, I did pick up the new journal, The Battle for Talarn. So I currently have all 5 journals, and I'm pretty happy about it. What I would love to do, and have zero skill to be able to make this work, is I would love to make a little website, or like a database or something, where it collects all of the different scenario, like mission types and rules and deployment types and secondaries and everything from Horus Heresy, and it collects into one thing where you can like select like, hey, what secondaries, like a mission creator, right, with the stuff that exists already. I think that'd be really cool. Gozy 4452, welcome. Salamanders player, oh sweet. 40k, 30k Salamanders. I'm painting Star Wars Legion tonight, but I do play 40k and 30k, so I am in on all of it. I play way too many games. And I currently paint on stream. That's my big thing. But I am working toward being able to do a weekly live stream, tabletop gaming. And I'm trying to raise just a little bit more money for that. 40k for now. Okay. I'm a huge 30k fan. Huge Heresy fan. Trying to raise some money to get the weekly live streams going. I need it's like 5 pieces of equipment I need to make it all work. I already have, I have the room, I have a lot of stuff, but we have a thing going right now for anybody who's here listening. I post in the Discord what you can do if you are, willing to pitch in a little bit of money, whether it's $1, $5, something like that. You can donate, you can do, subs on Twitch, you can do bits on Twitch, anything like that. And if you go to my Discord, there's a channel called Hall of Fame. And in that channel, there is a Google Doc. You click on that Google Doc, and it brings up all of my painted minis for my armies that I currently play, games I currently play. You go in there, you follow the criteria, you pick a mini, you let me know what mini you picked, and I will write your name on the base of that mini for any of those armies. And every time I play a game and I use that mini, you'll be there. And we've done this before. This is not something new to my channel, but it is something that's a bit more standardized. And if you need more explanation, like I said, in the Discord, if you need a link, let me know. Exclamation point Discord will get you a link to it. But that'll get what was I gonna say? But it's more standardized, and you have any of the armies to choose from. You can have multiple minis in an army. If you want more than one, you can have one mini in each different army. You posted a photo of your sock. I don't know what to make of that, Bahamut. That's scary. Chaotic would Emperor's Children scheme be in mid-heresy? Black and purple special prints. Mid-heresy, the Emperor's Children were already crazy. Yeah, they went nuts right after Istvan, which is right at the beginning. So they already had their, their noise marines and then all the other stuff. Oh, it's a sock you knitted. Okay. You had me going there. That's actually really well done. I completely didn't put 2 and 2 together that you were knitting and everything. That's funny. 3rd book, you got lots to go. Yeah, I want to play Shatterpoint. I have some models for that game. Yeah, Shatterpoint's cool. I never played Shatterpoint, but I'm a big Star Wars Legion enjoyer, and I like a lot of Star Wars games, but I play way too many games. That's the issue here. Flight of the Eisenstein seems so sick. Yeah, Flight of the Eisenstein's great. It's a great book. Yeah, love it. Alright, that's exciting. Gozy, so spoiler, alright? I am a huge Thousand Sons fan. The biggest army I collect out of anything are my Thousand Sons for the Horus Heresy. Thousand Sons is my favorite Heresy novel, and I am honestly really curious what you think of that novel. Because in my mind, it is the best one of the series. But I'm curious your opinion. I want to know how much it makes you hate Space Wolves reading that novel. What's up, Luffy? How you doing? Did that message cut off, really? Oh my goodness. I didn't realize that message would cut off. Oh, that's so annoying. What number is that? It's number like 8 or 9 maybe. The Horsey Hearsay. You have a while to go. It's not too far in. Let's see. Okay, it's number 12. Number 12. And book number 13 is the worst one I've read. That's too bad. How many have I read? I believe I've read 20 of them in order. Yeah, I don't think I've read Fear to Tread. Exterminatus, Betrayer. No, I never read those. I finished on the Primarchs. You know, up to 5, yeah. Hey, that's solid, man. No, that's exciting. It's always exciting when people are getting into it. I love the Horus Heresy as a game and as a setting, and I love the minis. I am all about it. I need time to play anything lately due to my son's soccer season, so... Happy little Solistan unit leader here. What could work as a demon prince in Horus Heresy? A demon prince. Are you talking about like what rules or what minis? Hey, Frankie Fingers, what's going on? What rules? Oh, go look up the demon rules on Warcom. They're free. Probably like the Demon Sovereign or something. Yeah, demons have their free rules for Horus Heresy. 100% part of the game. They're 100% free. Mr. Lord, welcome in. How you doing? Welcome. We're just painting Star Wars Legion. Just chilling. I'm working on some highlights here. Just some basic highlights at this point. Just get some infantry painted. From the Astartes book? Oh, okay. So not using demons, and you're probably looking at like a Dreadnought. Dreadnought's probably your best bet. mean, I would say if you're going to use a demon, just use the demon rules, right? We're trucking along on this color. What we're doing. It's in a photo, but this is YouTube. Well, Mr. Lord, I have a Discord. If you type !Discord, lovely Nightbot will post a link. And if you want to join, that's fine. I understand not wanting to join a million Discord servers. I get that, but you could jump in and share some pictures. And Leviathan Dreadnoughts are so cool, though. You play Heresy, Mr. Lord? What Legion? Why are you painting that Leviathan Dreadnought? Leviathan Dreadnoughts are my favorite Dreadnoughts. Midwest, welcome in on Twitch. Guys, I stream on Twitch and YouTube, so if you're confused, if it seems like I'm talking to nobody, right, because I'm talking to someone on a different platform. Yeah, no, thank you. I'm excited to see your Dread. I do love Leviathans. Midwest, how you been? You guys are all doing well. Alright, 9 left to go. Oh, guys, I did something fun. I have to show you this. So, piece of terrain I have. This is a flame. Okay, play 40k, get into Heresy, but I'm sunk in Necrons, Thousand Sons, and Night Lords. Yeah, hey man, you can always just, you know, you got a Leviathan, you already got a good start. This is flames. Okay, let me show you guys what this looks like when I put a yellow contrast paint, just like as a tint, over all of this. You guys ready? Ready to see this? Look at this. For just yellow over this. That's what it looks like. Isn't that crazy? Same paints. I painted both of these at the same time, and then I tried out the yellow. This is Iyanden yellow. Yeah, Iyanden yellow contrast, just really thin. So I'll do that later on stream. I'll put this up. Yeah, looked really good. I wanted to try the pink. I wanted to see if the pink worked as fire, and I'd say it did. Mr. Lord, you ready for 11th edition? I might end up playing 11th on stream if that's something people want to see. We can get things set up for it. Hey, and if anyone here contributed anything to our goal, that bottom right goal, either it's bits, subscriptions, or just donations, check out the new Discord channel, because you are eligible to have a mini painted, so, or a mini named after you. So go check that out and redeem your reward. So I don't want to have to be like digging through old chat messages and stuff to figure out who gave what at what point, but that you guys can that ball rolling. Use blue and zinch flame. You know, Gozy, I'd thought about that. I wanted to do this like cool like green flame. I decided for normal flames because the terrain that fire belongs on, it's a giant torch like statue, the big torch on it, and it's actually Prospero themed terrain. It's like, man, that's perfect for like green fire and stuff, right? But the accents on the terrain is already blue and like turquoise, and I felt like a green or blue flame would kind of not contrast super well with the terrain as painted. So I just decided, you know, we'll do kind of more classic orange yellow flames and stick with that. I'm sure there's something I'll paint where I'll do like blue or green flames, because yeah, Zinch is cool and this is Prospero and it's got to be magical, right? Hey, Crucial Blue, how you doing, man? Welcome in. Hey, Frankie Fingers, thank you so much for the sub. It's going toward the goal. We inch ever forward. Blue, how's your weekend? Ready for 11th? Just battle against my friend. I played Night Lords using an Ultra Smurfs. Man, I love Ultramarines. My 40k Space Marine army is Ultramarines. It's funny, my buddies are Night Lords. From the family property, planted some blueberry bushes, found a tick on my neck. Ugh. That is no bueno. Is it your first ever sub on Twitch? That's incredible. Have people been gifting them to you? That's so cool, man. Thank you so much. Make sure you stop by the Hall of Fame on Discord and pick out a mini you want named. And Frankie, I will name that mini. You'll get your it's forever yours at that point. It stays with me. But every time it's in a game, it is Frankie Fingers. I haven't had a tick in so long. I used to game as a kid quite a bit, but I used to be, you know, out and about a lot more as a kid than I am now. I appreciate it, Frankie, seriously. And hopefully you enjoy the ad-free viewing. Last few years have been brutal. Ugh. That's awful. I had a friend who got me, and this was back in like 2008, 2009, something like that. They didn't know what he had at the time, but he ended up with, he just started passing out. Like randomly, was passing out like every 15 minutes. So they took him to the hospital, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. He went to 3 different hospitals, and the third one kept him for a few days and finally said like, yeah, he had Rocky Mountain spotted fever is what he had from a tick, which is not something at the time that I'm sure it had at some point occurred in the state of Ohio, but it was not something that was known to be in the state of Ohio. And you sent photos on Discord? Oh, sweet. I'll go check them out. Let's see what you got. Oh, Leviathan. Oh, and the corpse on top. That's you used bits from the kill team. Is that right, Mr. Lord? Oh, that's sick looking. Yeah. Incredible pose with the cork. Yeah. Solid, man. How'd you enjoy putting together the Leviathan? Just the right amount of spikes. And like Night Lordness, I feel. It's really good. But this Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever was crazy because I went to visit him in the hospital, and while he had this, he lacked the ability to laugh, which sounds really weird. But we would just say stuff, he'd be like, "That's funny," and then like that was it. And so we made it a point just to like make jokes about everything to see if we could get him to actually laugh, and it was just, "That's funny. That's funny." And like that's all he could do. Yeah. It was weird. Yeah, we ended up calling it the Rocky Mountain Oysters fever that he had, but yeah, he couldn't laugh. It's rough. Yeah. Haven't spoken to that guy in years. He ended up cheating on his wife with a bunch of prostitutes. Great guy. It sounds so made up. It must be real. Yeah, exactly. Hmm. These bits from Nemesis Claw and a Rhino. Yeah, okay. The spiky bits, brew. It's fun to build. Yeah, something I love about the Heresy minis, Mr. Lord, is that how posable you can make things. And a lot of times it's just like, clip off a little peg here, or like, you know, move something a little bit more than they tell you should or whatever. It did escalate, yeah, he did though. That was crazy. His wife found a bunch of weird credit card transactions. So apparently the prostitutes in Mississippi take credit cards. Found out what was going on. Unfortunately, left him. So good for her. Now allergic to red meat. Yeah, ticks are the most. Yeah, tick allergies. Yeah, or like tick bites. Always do the weirdest stuff. Yeah, the red meat one is crazy. Isn't that Lyme disease that does that, or that's just like a thing that happens sometimes? Leviathans, the fairly newer ones. No, the Leviathans are the that's the Saturnine Dreadnought. That's what you're thinking of, Gozy. The Saturnines came out with third edition Heresy last year. Leviathans have been in the Horus Heresy for quite some time, but they're the big chonky ones though. Just not as big as the Saturnine Dreadnought. Yeah, okay, it's different bacteria. Yeah, the no laughing is wild. Yeah, it was honestly one of the funniest symptoms I could think of. When you think of like symptoms you can just make fun of people for, like not being able to laugh is a great one. 'Cause you can joke around with them, and they just can't. Yeah, Leviathans have always been my favorite dread since the first time they like came up with them, like what 10 years ago or whatever, or more. It's probably more. Incredible stuff. I only have one. I do love my Leviathan. Yeah, the plastic one came out 2-3 years ago. During second edition Heresy. Frankie, did you pick out your mini? Guys, as long as you give at least $1. Okay, you're paying. That's fine. Don't forget. I want to make sure you get, get what you deserve, right? But as long as you're giving at least $1 or just 100 bits, or if you're able to donate or something, be able to pick a mini out, name on it. I love doing that. I love having like the community on the board. I think it's really cool. Like, oh no, Jaded Valkyrie, he died. And it's like picking up his tactical marine off the board or whatever. I think you were in one of the last games, Jaded Valkyrie. I think it was your mini. I have a lot of minis in my Thousand Suns that are claimed. Blue, I have the Void Dragon. Yeah. Black dies dramatically, yeah. Yeah, I think, Jaded, I think you have a Tactical Marine in my Thousand Suns, and it was, yeah, like one of the last games I played of Heresy, like that squad just got nuked like turn 1. That's like, well, alright. Hard hitters between Contemptor and Leviathan. The only reason I got the Leviathan is because the Cyclonic Melt Lance in the bulk, yeah. Dude, the Leviathan is so much cooler than the Contemptor. I love Contemptors, but... Were you a Saturn? Okay, you may be a Saturnine. You may be right about that. It's been a while. For how much I don't care for the Saturnine, I love how my Saturnine Termes turned out. And the Dreadnought's great looking too. The thing they don't show you in the promotional pictures for all those Saturnine minis is that you can pose those minis. Yeah, you definitely made a much bigger boom. You probably killed something when you exploded, because Saturnine Terminators literally do explode when they die. Yeah, it's an incredible mini. Ooh, I went to my local store to pick up my new journal today. The Battle for Tallarn came out, and I was tempted with Solar Auxilia minis, all those new ones, the Ogren and the new Rapier batteries and stuff. I was tempted. I did not buy though. I made a deal not to buy any minis this month. So you play Heresy? You play a range of others. Mr. Lord, I play a lot of games. Star Wars Legion, painting my Legion minis here. Heresy is like my #1 game of the past few years. I think my favorite miniature game of all time is Star Wars Armada. I think as far as a game goes, between like theme and like fun and everything, Star Wars Armada was my favorite, and I will still play it. I normally have bad impulse control, but I'm working on it. My wife was home when I was at the store, so if I came home and I had that stuff in my hands, I'd get questions. No, I'm you know, trying to be a little more disciplined about my buying, and I'm saving for the gaming streams, and I want to make that work. And I know I'm doing this on a donation, but I don't want to be out buying a bunch of minis and spending money when I'm asking people to contribute, right? Money is a little tight for everybody. So, if I'm going to spend money on hobby stuff, it's going toward the gaming setup. And I got a book. I got the journal today, just like $25, but yeah, it's trying to make things work. Anyway, Star Wars Armada is a game I will play. I might end up playing on stream when we get around to it because, man, I love that game so much. I play Star Wars Legion. I'm about to join a summer league, so that's the reason I'm painting this. And my son is buying his first ever miniatures. They're going to be Star Wars Legion minis. They're going to be Mandalorians. You save for some horror games in your setup, yeah. So I play that. I have 40k armies. I have multiple 40k armies. Haven't played 40k in a couple years, but I'll try 11th. I'll try. It'd be fun to try on stream or a couple times. Play it sometimes on stream. I've played X-Wing. I really enjoy Middle-earth strategy battle game. Was the OG for me. It was my first miniature game back in 2002. And I still love that game. It's almost identical to where it was all the way back then, which is great. I also played the Old World. I was a big Warhammer Fantasy fan for a long time, so the Old World is my jam. Yeah, we're gonna go see a Mandalorian on Friday, and it works out. My son's last day of school is Thursday, so him and I get to hang out on Friday, and then Friday evening, the whole family's gonna go see Mandalorian and Grogu. Whether it's bad or good, it is my son's first ever Star Wars movie in theaters, so it's going to be significant. Ever play Battlefleet Gothic? I haven't. I missed the boat on that. I was really into Middle-earth, Warhammer Fantasy, and 40k during like the 2000s, and I hit early adulthood in late 2000s, early 2010, and I never really had the financial means to collect all the cool specialist games that GW made. And I know it'll be a memory either way. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him I loved it regardless. I'm not gonna tell him if it was bad. I'm not gonna tell him I thought it was bad. But yeah, it was about 2012, 2011. GW just kind of canceled all their specialist games, so I wouldn't have had the chance to collect it when I was financially able. Yeah, it looks like fun. Yeah, The Mandalorian has been a fun series regardless, so I'm looking forward to it. I always enjoy the connections in Star Wars, not necessarily oh, here are the same 5 characters that show up in every story, but more the how does this one relate to this one, what's going on in the big picture of the galaxy while this story's going on. I really enjoy that stuff, so I am looking forward to seeing how this all fits into the bigger picture of what's going on. Yeah, my son is excited for his Mandalorian miniatures. They come out in June, so he's gonna have his first army to collect. 3D printers are rules existing. That's true. Yeah, I could play Battlefleet Gothic if I wanted to. Yeah, because those miniatures are all over the place with STLs and stuff. So you're exactly right. Yep. It was actually how I played Epic 40k. I 3D printed a couple armies, and Zen and I played. Take me to see Last Crusade and Star Trek V as a double feature. Nice. Additional memory. Indiana Jones, amazing. Final Frontier, not so much. One of the first movies I remember seeing was in a drive-in movie theater. And it was a double feature. That's what drive-in movie theaters do. And the first movie was, I believe, Big Mama's House. It was a comedy. And the second movie was Jurassic Park. And like 5-year-old me loved dinosaurs. I was all about dinosaurs. So Jurassic Park was right up my alley. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this is like one of my earliest memories. I think I fell asleep at some point through Jurassic Park. I think I did. But what I remember I loved. The movie didn't scare me. Like, it was just purely incredible. We ran a Star Wars tabletop RPG. Favorite part was finding little stories to tell. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. No, first RPG I ever played was actually Age of Rebellion, the Fantasy Flight one. And we had a group of friends that would come over and play. It was kind of funny. All of us were kind of in the same stage of life. So we all had like babies and like toddlers. And we had this game going for a couple years. The same adventure. And we'd come over, we'd hang out. The kids would play, in the living room, and we would sit, within viewing distance, right, to watch the kids and stuff. But then we would play for a couple hours. That's what we would do, and it was a ton of fun. And COVID happened and knocked that off rails, and then half the friends ended up turning super crazy. Don't care to associate with them anymore, which is a thing that happened. So yeah, same system. Yeah, it was Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and then there was Force and Destiny, right? I was really into FFG at this time, so teenager for Jurassic Park, but I loved it. We saw it twice. Nice. Yeah. First theater movie was Titanic. Whoa, that is awkward. I saw Titanic when I was a kid in movie theaters. I must have been 7 or 8 years old. What was that, 97 when that came out? And yeah, I went with a friend and his mom and saw that movie. So that was an experience as a kid. Hey, Misfit. Whoa. How you doing, man? What's the message? Hold on. I need to find out real quick. Misfit, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. How can I pull this message up? There's got to be a way. Oh. Why do you do this? Ugh. G-Haves, what's up? What's up, G-Haves? Man, thank you so much. Misfit, make sure you pick some minis out, man. I'm gonna name some minis after you. Where am I looking? Getting knitting done. 10 prime some minis of airbrush. Make great for black. Yeah. Good luck. Thank you so much, Misfit. I really appreciate it. Seriously. I really do. 40K club from my high school. Got a summer course 4 weeks from now. Super stoked for it. That's really cool. Repicture and finish. Whoa, look at that cloak. Wait a second. Is that Tyberos? Is that who that is? Yeah, the red wig. Wild, dude. That's so much blood on that mini. That's great. Fantastic work. You're like, is that dude a corn worshiper? Nah, he's a loyalist. He loves the Emperor, can't you tell? Fantastic, guys. Check out G-Have's Tyros mini. Good stuff. Pay much attention to the movie, as I probably should have. I remember staring out at a sea of moms in tears, very confused. Trying to finish this call. I got 4 more after this guy. 4. You guys threw me off my game here. I forgot what I was doing. Thank you so much again, Misfit. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited. I've been basically I picked out what I'm going to get, or what I like, the specific things I'm going to get, I think. And Blue, I meant to send you a message. I was gonna show you what I was looking at as far as streaming devices go. I found a mini PC I think I might like, because it's a Lenovo, and I like Lenovo's, and it's in budget. But yeah, I'm think I might be starting off pretty good. I think I'll have some people to join me on stream as soon as we have it up and running. We're going to be playing lots of different games. I know Zen is he's so into TCGs right now. I think he's going to be wanting to play like Magic and Gundam and stuff. We actually played Gundam on Friday. I tried the Gundam TCG. It's cool. I like the theme. You know, the robots and everything, like the suits and stuff. I think as a game, I think it needs more. You know, my very limited experience with any kind of TCG, but it felt kind of one-dimensional as far as the game goes. And I had many moments where I would play cards, and then I would just kind of be out of cards, and there's no like card draw mechanics in the game. And like once you're out of cards, you just kind of pick up one card at a time, and you're just kind of done. James, I love your Tyros. That's great. It is a pretty rare occurrence to see a painted Tyros hanging out. I love it. Are you painting like, did you just do that many as like a one-off, or are you painting like a chapter for like an army? He's by Atlan Forge. Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with him. I have some of their STLs. Very cool. But yeah, the ability to zoom in so we can play Magic and you guys can see cards. 40k, 30k, SPG. I promised Kill a Cam a giant SPG battle, and I wonder if there's a way that we could make it happen on stream. It'd be Dwarves versus Isengard, which is a pretty epic fight, honestly. Guess how many days it took me to paint him? I'm gonna say 2 weeks. 2 weeks to paint him. Is that reasonable? I don't have a good gauge on how long it takes people to paint things one day. Nice. What a beast. I love it. Absolutely love it. Someone's making a sock. Yeah, Bahamut's making a sock. It was funny, Bahamut was in chat and like, yeah, I like knitting, and you know, and then talk about when we're talking about different stuff. Like I just posted a picture of a sock, of my sock in Discord, and I was like, "Excuse me, your sock?" No, they're knitting socks, so you know that makes sense. Days in total, if you can combine all the hours. Excuse me. Probably 2 weeks in total. Yeah, that's fair. So you're a reasonably fast painter. Yeah, it did break me for a minute. I was like, who's posting socks in Discord? Like this is. Did Twitch catch up with me? Is that what's happening? But no, it's a lovely sock that Bahamut knitted. So it's 2,000 points. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have, G-Haves, I have a channel called Army Showcase. You got a couple pictures of the army or something you want to show off as just a whole army. That's a fun place to put it. I love seeing painted minis and armies, guys. Love it. Oh, so Blue, I played at TMNT yesterday. My son wanted to watch me play the game. He'd never actually seen me play. So I showed him the game. And he made me choose a character that is not Donatello. Photo, but in the second photo, it's because tomorrow I have an event I'm going to. Oh, yeah, okay, that's alright. That's alright. Take some pictures at your event, and good luck at your event, too. My son. What did I say? Did I just, like, say his name on accident? I don't... Wait. Did I just say my son's name? Sweet, I'll take a look at it here in just a minute. Oh, you're right. Okay, okay. Yeah, my son wanted to watch me play. So I showed him a run, and he wouldn't let me play Donatello. So he asked me to play Leonardo instead. And I like Leonardo a lot. Yeah, he was really good. Does really good damage. Donatello definitely isn't like a DPS character. So Leo did good damage. My issue with that run, so I start with 3 rerolls on items. I had to use all 3 rerolls in my first 3 rooms because it wouldn't give me powers. Like, that whole run just screwed me over. Kept doing stuff like that. So I kept getting a bunch of garbage. I didn't pick up steam until the very end. And then I wasn't able to kill Shredder, basically. So got him to like phase 2 and everything. I'm like halfway down, but yeah, that was really annoying. I had like the makings of like a great run. So I was doing red on Tyros. That's blood. Yeah, blood for the blood god. That makes sense. Yeah, the GW color. But I was doing so Leonardo has like his Master Strike ability. So instead of doing the final strike, you do a final strike plus 30 damage, right? So I made my whole build around getting final strike. And so it was like I went like ninja, water, and what else was I doing? There was like some astral stuff. I ended up getting the light shield, the light shell, which is like necessary, I feel like. But yeah, I was doing 200 plus damage when I would hit somebody with a bunch of stuff, which was really good, but it just wasn't enough. Take down stupid Shredder. A light shell is OP. Yeah, that's like necessary. Which turtle game? It's called TMNT Splintered Fate. It is a roguelite, like kind of hack and slash game. I have heard that it's like Hades, but it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's up to 4-player co-op, and it's cross-platform. So, what cross-platform means for me is my son wants this game for his Switch to play. Only downside is it's not on sale. It's currently $30. But I might end up playing this game with my son. Which is pretty cool. Pretty cool we can do some runs in this game. Okay. 3 left. 3 left, and then I think we'll mess around with something here. We'll figure it out. One step closer. The whole army. Oh yeah, I gotta check it out. Let me check it out, G-Have. Sorry. Got about you for a second. Let's go. Oh, y'all packed away. Okay. Nice, nice. Got some Ultramarines. Terminator Chaplain, very good. Some Armigers. Very nice. Alright. Good deal. You got Tyros leading that army? Yeah, definitely blue. Definitely. Okay, Gilliman is. Okay, gotcha. Like the Terminator army. Are you talking about G-Haves or are you talking to me? By painting any Terminators. Welcome in. Speed Games. Welcome in, Speed Games. Did you have is Tyros is he going with the army or is he just a mini painted for fun? You have Gilliman. Oh yeah, I see. Okay, I see Gilliman. All right, I've seen before. Yeah, sure. Does he have? Yeah, Everest still has rules, right? They're like Legends rules or something, but. What's the main faction? These minis I'm painting right now are for Star Wars Legion, and these are Rebel veterans who are basically the Hoth troopers from Empire Strikes Back. So they're the Rebel side of that, the guys that hang out in the trenches and die to the AT-ATs. So with the goals that I have up, guys, the weekly gaming streams, what the idea is to schedule games with people, so local people that I know and everything. Scheduled out, work with their schedule, and try to get one game a week that I can stream live. And that game might be on a Tuesday, and if it's on like a Tuesday, it would replace kind of my Tuesday paint stream, and I'd be gaming during that stream. But if it's, you know, like on a Friday, maybe I'll do my normal streams, and then Friday we do an extra stream that's like a game stream. As far as like a regular weekly stream, that's kind of the idea with that. So I would still be painting most of the time on stream. My family also wants to occasionally, especially if we get it ready for summer, we could do this during the summer, we want to do some like family game nights, or is my family playing a board game. Man, I messed up that dude's arm. Oh, that's gonna kill me. That's gonna kill me. Weird arm. I don't know how to put it on his arm. But might, you know, stream some random evenings playing some games. I would love to do like regular weeknight or weekend streams in the evenings and just like make that a thing, but I can't, because all of my family goes to bed early, and he just got a bit of frostbite. Yeah, his hand just fell off. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, due to the rest of the family wanting to sleep, I don't think fun late night gaming streams are going to be really a thing. So I'm gonna have to work around my schedule. I'm not quite sure who Speed is talking to. Approves this development. Yeah. Custom data sheet by someone. Tyro's 210, 7 inches, toughness 8, so he's super tough. 2-4 up, 7 wounds. 2 OC. 2 up, strength 12. Dang, AP2, damage 3. That's pretty crazy. The damage for his claws and chain fist seem low. Really? That seems like a lot. I mean, 210 is a lot for mini. That's like Primarch level almost, right? Primarch's sit around 300. Okay, this dude just straight up. Yeah, they don't have. I knew there were some that didn't have the white coat, and it's the guys with these T21s or whatever they are that they're carrying. Definitely a couple more things we can do with our time left in the stream. Damage, chain fist, or 3. Yeah, that still seems like that seems reasonable for a mini. I don't know. It's been a while since I played 40k, so my perception may be off. But I feel like 3 damage power fists when you're throwing 6 attacks seems pretty good. Hitting on 2, especially with strength 12. Strength 12 is crazy. No, 7 and 10 damage is absurd. I don't even think Angron does that kind of damage. That still seems really high. Flat damage 6 and 7 weapons are incredibly rare, even in 40k. I don't think a chapter master would be like an appropriate place for weapons of that caliber. Because again, I don't think Primarchs are hitting that hard. Yeah, maybe 4 on the fists. If you really need to buff it up. But the claws should be a lot less, because the claws should be more attacks, right? Yeah, should be more attacks at less damage. That's the typical formula for the game. So I'm a little surprised with how little, how few sets got the Sunday preview today. It was what, two sets and a book that basically popped up. There's only a few more things on the list that GW's announced and hasn't released yet, so I know they're gearing up for big edition for 11th edition and everything, but I wonder if they're going to clear the list and do a preview show. I don't know when their next big preview show is, but I feel like they need to restock. Alright, we finished that color of highlights. I'm just going to jump right into the next color. I'm going to get some flesh wash here. Small brush, but not too small. With different skin tones. And the Solistans get the flesh wash as well. Working on the faces. At least 2 more colors I think I can get done this evening. All this. Okay, got that. How many colors end up being on the average TPD grunt model? 9 to 15 maybe? I'd say that's pretty reasonable. Space Marine's normally a lot less, just because Space Marine's normally really easy to paint, but something like this probably... around 10 colors. Around 10. Okay, next thing I want to do, we're gonna add some light bronze. And there's their little goggles are all this little bronze color. It was originally light bronze. I washed it down, so we're gonna put more light bronze over it. No, 20 isn't bad. There is no good or bad with that. You know, Jaded, I've painted so many minis for so many armies and people and everything. Like, I think I have inadvertently just, I guess, worked myself into a place where I try to be as efficient as possible with everything I do when it comes to painting. So I'm sure sometimes that means paring down colors, or, you know, using colors in multiple places where a normal person probably wouldn't. But most of my grunt minis, they get one stage of highlight after a wash. And sometimes that highlight is just reapplying the base color. So, a ton of big armies, yeah. There is one army I have that is off limits to naming, and that is my Dark Eldar. So I have a good 4,000 points of painted Dark Eldar, and they are not on the list. Or Drukari, or whatever you want to call them now, but they don't go on the list. And I'm sure I might be forgetting something that I could put on that list, but that's what I could figure out from all my inventorying. I also don't have like Star Wars Armada miniatures on there because you can't really like write names on the bases. Ceres the one, yeah, I think I misspelled it. Also, I think it's supposed to be an S, but yeah, that is Illuminor Ceres. Just make sure you guys read the requirements. Right. Little visors. Next thing we're gonna start prepping our next stage here. We're gonna take this black brown. We're gonna paint on all of their bases. Every base is gonna get black brown. Nice good coat of it. Down the batch painting. So just one color a day to try to keep the sense of overwhelm at bay. It's gonna take a month to get through each unit. Yeah, it happens. Well, you're gonna get to the point, Jaded, where where you're doing one color a day to keep the overwhelm at bay. You're gonna get to a point toward the end where you're doing like eye visors and little buttons on things, and maybe a purity seal stamp or whatever, and it's gonna be like one little dot of paint on each mini or two little dots of paint, and you're gonna zoom through it. You're like, well, I can do another color. If you do another color, you just took a whole day off your painting process. Those are the kind of things that those are the kind of things I live for. That stage of painting, when I zoom through things like that. Like I just put 2 colors on these guys in like 10 minutes, right? What I'm talking about. This can be a really thin coat. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, because it's going to be covered with basing material, but we just need to make sure that there's something underneath, because the white on the base will show up if there's nothing painted there. We want brown. These guys aren't getting a full snow base either. It's the bonus extra feeling. Yeah, yep. Telling you, man, trick your brain. But that's a solid goal. 1 color a day is an amazing goal. I love it. It's like succinct, and setting those little goals like you obviously still have to get yourself to like sit down and do it, right? But you can always, man, you can do all kinds of crazy things to mess with that. Like, you start painting and you finish that goal. If there's a day where you're painting and you feel, you're about to finish your last mini on that color, and you're like, you know what? I can do a little more. And what you can do, and it's little things, right? Little things that make a big difference. What you can do, you can start the next color, put the next color on a couple minis, and then your next day's easier, right? And then if you do that, it just cascades. So I do love that kind of like incremental difference to make like a huge difference by the end. I only have 1.5 painted RVs. Need to up my game. No, don't worry about it. I have a lot. Not only have I been doing this for a long time, but this is what I literally do, is just sit here and paint minis every day, so it's okay to just have 1 painted army, or even less. Nothing wrong with that. Some more brown paint. There we go. So we're updating 40K for 11th, or are they going for a whole new version? I don't remember. Are they making a new like app? I don't remember what they're doing. Almost done with these bases. I think we're gonna call stream for the night. I appreciate the support this evening and the wonderful conversation. Just keep me going. I will be back streaming Tuesday. Paint pots and to weigh them down. Yes, I do put, I have sand in these paint pots. That one might just be an old full paint pot, but most of them, if I shake them, you can hear the sand. There we go. Yeah, we're going to continue Votan on Tuesday. I have a Barracks Stormbrow to paint, and then we have a Hecaton Land Fortress to like weather and stuff, so that's going to be a bit experimental. You guys are cool with me trying and failing on stream a bunch, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna mess with some stuff. The falling 1,000 suns go after they die. Yep. They go into weighing down the The mini holders. Dang, Jaded. Why you gotta do that to me? That's mean. We're sent to experiment. Yeah. Yeah, we recycle in this house, alright? Whether it's plastics or Thousand Suns corpses. Recycling is going to happen. Alright. Yeah, was it Wednesday or Thursday, whenever I'm working that mini? Might be an exercise in frustration, but it's alright. I was trusted. Make this mini look really cool, and we're going to do our best to make it look cool. So. I'm going to do some research in the meantime. My full and unwavering confidence. Thank you, Jaded. I really appreciate that. All right. Coat brown on all the bases. They're looking pretty ugly right now. But we have a few more highlights to put on these minis. We have some basing material to put on and some snow to put on top of those bases. And for an example of a finished mini, this would be one. Lovely Tauntaun Rider. I wanted to do like dirt with snow, so I could add other Rebel minis and they don't look too out of place. That was basically my reason for doing that. But this is a good example of a trooper here. So we're going to continue on these troopers another time, probably on my own time. But otherwise, on Tuesday, I will be back on stream. Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. And I'll be painting some more Leagues Votann. And should be a good time. Nice chill day. And yeah, we'll be continuing on through those minis. But you guys have a wonderful evening. I hope you sleep well. I hope you have a great Monday. And Jaded, Frankie Fingers, what else we got is chilling tonight? G-Haves, Rusha Blue, Hydro's probably in there. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. And thanks for the good conversation in the company. And I will see you all on Tuesday. Bye, everybody. See you, Jay.